Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Totally Unqualified podcast. We are up to episode 14 now. This is getting crazy, guys. I am, of course, joined by my two lovely co-hosts, Gage Hall and Jake Maltese. How are we doing tonight, fellas?
Doing fantastic. Happy to be here.
Yeah, Gage looking like a politician right now with the he's got the American flag behind him with the Tennessee flag. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. All right. Never seen that before, but I just took a wild guess there. But yeah, I'm excited for this episode. We obviously had some crazy news today that we're going to get to later in the episode. So should be some good content today.
What happened to the backwards hat, Gage? I thought you were joining us.
I don't know. My light on my forehead, a little bit shiny. I didn't want to blind anybody.
All right, guys. You know, we start all of our episodes off with a guess that player. Same with this episode. We're going NFL as always. It's always going to be an NFL week if I'm up. All right.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Ready.
All right.
I'm ready to go.
Drafted in 2009 by the New England Patriots. All right. He has a 16-23 career record. He's a quarterback. 52 touchdowns.
Jacoby Brissett?
No. 52 touchdowns, 35 interceptions in his career.
Brian Hoyer.
There it is.
Yes.
Man.
Let's go.
I've been talking about
go.
Jacoby Brissett definitely wasn't drafted that long ago.
You were a little early on.
Yeah.
My last two hints were he's played for 6 teams since 2016, but he's had 3 stints with the one team. So,
yeah.
And then the last one was he led the Browns to a winning record in 2014.
He did. A lot of people forget about that. Brian Hoyer was, before Baker Mayfield, probably the best quarterback they had in a while.
Which is so unfortunate because Brian Hoyer is just a piece of human trash, just absolute garbage. How has he been in the league this long? He got cut today, by the way.
Did he?
He did.
Wow.
They cut Cam. Oh, I guess I shouldn't say that yet. We're not there yet. They cut.
You want to just get right into that?
Yeah, let's just get right into it.
Yeah, they cut Cam Newton and Brian Hoyer.
Wow.
And that is our first topic for today's episode, guys. Cam Newton getting cut by the New England Patriots. Mac Jones is your new starter. He is that new guy in New England. How are we feeling about this? Do you think it was the right decision to release a veteran quarterback like that with a rookie quarterback coming in? Or do you think Mac Jones just simply outplayed him?
Definitely a really wild situation. Bill Belichick just had to make me look like a dumbass after last week. I said that Cam Newton was basically a lock for the starting position. And then they just up and cut him today. Not even QB2, not even going to sit behind Mac. He's just gone completely. I feel like it has a lot to do with the COVID situation and him refusing to get a vaccine. I feel like there's some missing pieces to this puzzle that we are not entirely aware of as far as the relationship between the front office, between the staff and Cam Newton that probably went down that led to this also. But I do feel like it has a lot to do with the COVID stuff. Definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah. If you would have told me that Mac Jones just plain beat out Cam Newton for the starting job, I wouldn't have been too shocked. But if you would have told me that Mac Jones beat out Cam Newton for the starting job and Cam Newton got cut, I probably would not have seen that coming because Cam Newton, especially in the offseason this year, they gave him guaranteed money. They signed him to a 1-year extension with a pretty hefty chunk of change. I don't remember exactly what it was.
3.6 mil.
Yeah, so he has guaranteed money there. You had him pretty cheap as a backup quarterback, and with a guy that's that experienced in Cam Newton, a guy that's been to a Super Bowl, won an MVP, not really old. Yeah, a little beat up, not his prime, but still very experienced guy. I would have thought that's a perfect security blanket in case Mac Jones goes down or something like that to keep on the team. There is definitely something else, like Gage said, that we don't know, whether that's the COVID vaccination status or something else that even happened behind the scenes. I'm sure there's definitely something else that we don't know. I can understand that Bill Belichick being the kind of coach that he is, not liking any loose ends, to have even that threat of like the team having to forfeit, because doesn't the team have to forfeit the game if a player who's not vaccinated gets COVID? Yeah. So Bill Belichick being the guy that he is, he would be that thorough to just be like, you know what, we'll eat the contract. We can't risk, forfeiting a game because of you. So I mean, crazy way to start the day. Definitely.
It was. I got that notification when I was in class. I was shocked. I was like thinking of video ideas in the middle of class and everything. I definitely think there was an underlying situation behind the scenes that, might not come out for a couple weeks. Maybe we'll see something on Twitter later, but there was definitely some animosity between Cam Newton and the front office and management. Can't like quite put my finger on it, but it was a weird dynamic there. But simply, guys, Mac Jones is the better quarterback right now. And that's kind of crazy because he hasn't even played in a regular season game. Maybe we should be giving Cam Newton more respect. Personally, I don't think so because he hasn't played well in quite some time. I mean, in his time with New England last year, what did he have? He had 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, guys. Woo! That's your starting quarterback right there. Did have, either 10 or 12 rushing touchdowns, I believe.
12.
12. All right. He led the league in rushing touchdowns for a quarterback as well. So it wasn't all just like terrible, right? But Bill Belichick and this Patriots offense was never going to work with Cam Newton as their quarterback, right? They're not going from Tom Brady, primarily a stationary quarterback, moves around the pocket, can manipulate the pocket in any sort of way. Cam Newton is more of a run and gun sort of player. Those two were just not going to mesh well together. Mac Jones is that guy. He's pretty much a Brady prototype. Obviously, Nick Saban and Bill Belichick are really tight, so you kind of could envision Bill Belichick being confident in Mac Jones heading into the season. I'm for it. I would have liked to see Cam Newton start, right? I would have liked to see him on the team, especially with all the new weapons that they had, because I feel like their lack of weapons last year really sort of deteriorated Cam Newton's play. But he's going to live to see another day. I've heard that rumors that he might be going to Dallas pretty soon to back up Dak. Cam Newton doesn't seem like the guy that's going to, willingly be a backup quarterback. Does he strike you as that type of guy? Not me.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. He definitely doesn't. I don't see him just willingly being like. I feel like he would go into a situation where he could compete and be fine with that. But I don't feel like that. The Cowboys situation isn't that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dak Prescott is their guy and they're going to stick with him. As far as like another landing spot for him, I feel like he could maybe go into Houston and take that job. Maybe duke it out with Jared Goff up in Detroit. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. That's where my head's at.
If I'm Houston, I'm jumping all over him.
Yeah, might as well.
With the uncertainty of Deshaun Watson, there's a bunch of trade rumors. Are they going to trade him? Are they not? It's not looking likely. But then again, I hear every day on Twitter, I see Deshaun Watson preparing to get traded. Deshaun Watson will not get traded. Houston refuses. It's like I'm hearing so many different things. It's annoying at this point. But if I'm Houston, jumping all over Cam Newton, you need that guy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else do they have? Nothing.
I mean, they have Tyrod Taylor, who's a solid quarterback. But yeah, if you can get Cam Newton, you go out and get Cam Newton over Tyrod Taylor all day, every day. That Detroit situation was another one I was going to bring up. It seems like they're pretty confident with Jared Goff, as confident as you can be, at least. But yeah, those would be the two landing spots, because we're at a time in the NFL where pretty much, like, this is pretty rare. Pretty much, I would say like 90% of the league has a quarterback like that they're confident in, that they're going forward with. Technically, Houston does too, but I mean that's a situation that's probably going to be, end pretty soon with Deshaun Watson going somewhere. Yeah. But we can get into that another day.
Yeah, Houston's got to do something. Well, listen, Houston's front office is stupid, right? So they're not going to actually do the smart thing. Listen to this. They traded a 7th round pick for Kadar Holman, like the 7th string cornerback on the Packers last week, right? And they released him today.
Yeah.
There it is. That's your franchise right there, Houston. Imagine that. This was a playoff team like literally last year. Like a year ago, we were like, oh, the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson. Like, oh, yeah, that fell real quickly.
I mean, I guess if you're going to do that with a pick, you do it with a 7th round pick. But a week to just completely throw away a 7th round pick. That's stupid. That's so stupid. And you would think Nick Caserio, being a New England guy, a very important part of those New England teams, one of the executives there, that he would be better than this. But this, like, this Houston Texans team is one of the biggest dumpster fires I can remember in my history of watching the NFL, other than how the Cleveland Browns were and the Oakland Raiders were over the years. Houston's up there right now. And it is probably the quickest fall from grace I have ever seen personally in my time watching football.
I've been saying this for months, honestly, since like last year. No, definitely the past couple of years. Houston Texans are the worst run organization, not even just in the NFL, in all of sports. In all of sports, the Packers are getting up there, but the Houston Texans right now are the worst run team in all of sports. This is the team that traded DeAndre Hopkins and didn't even get a first-round pick in return. That's crazy. David Johnson in return. This team's awful.
If this was 2016, that'd be a big name. That'd be a big acquisition right there. Only in 2016, though. Only every other year. No, every other year. No.
He was so good in fantasy that year too.
So good.
Loved him that year.
Bruce Arians came out and said he was a Hall of Fame talent. When Bruce Arians coached him his rookie year in 2015, it was on like All or Nothing that was the first year of All or Nothing with the Cardinals. Bruce Arians came out and was like, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. And we saw, like, everybody saw it, like, in his second year. We're like, holy shit, this guy might be a Hall of Famer. And then he just fell off the face here. He broke his arm, which shouldn't be a significant injury for a running back that derails your career. That should be like it heals and you get back running. But I don't know what the fuck happened with David Johnson.
I love how we turned this segment into just fuck the Houston Texans.
Slander.
That's awesome. Gotta love it. Any more on Cam Newton? Or you think
Well, just while we're on the AFC South, I just want to add a quick thing real quick while we're talking about how bad the Texans are. The Titans, they have struggled with the draft as of the past 2 years. Obviously, they've had some good picks as well, but they lose, what's his name? Isaiah
Wilson. Yeah,
they lose him, who they picked in the first round last year. And then today they released their 4th round pick that they picked this year. So it's like they're not even getting these guys on the field and they're dropping them.
Oh, they drafted some guy who, like, it came out he got arrested like right after the draft. Curtis Weaver who I'm thinking about? Oh, I don't want to put that on Curtis's name if that's not true, but it may or may not be Curtis Weaver. All right. And on that note, we are going to move into some Speedy Spotlights. This week, we are starting with Gage. And who would we be if we actually had the timer ready? Let me get the timer on.
All right.
Are you ready, Gage?
I am ready.
All right. Whenever you start, I'm going.
If you are in the Discord, you have heard me rant and rave about this already. If you're not in the Discord, well, then you're a loser. Get on it. But Kanye West has finally dropped Donda. And I don't care what anybody says, it's dog shit.
Wow.
There's a few of the songs that are okay, right? But you know which songs are okay? The ones that have features on them, because the rest of them are a bunch of overproduced, just absolute repetitive bullshit. And I like some of the Kanye songs. What the fuck does he know? But like, he hasn't released anything good as of recently in my mind. I feel like he put so much time into this and he delayed the release a couple different times just to be a huge letdown in my eyes. And I see people saying that, oh, well, it's going to be the album of the year and it's going to be this and it's going to be that and how much they love it. And I feel like it's just like a name brand item. It's because Kanye is attached to it and that's why people love it so much. But I think in general, he's overrated, especially at this point in his career. I tried to listen to the entire album. I got to like track 21 or something like that. And I was like, I can't listen to any more of this. I'm done with it. I'm beyond pissed off about it.
Wow. That is a hot take.
It is what it is.
You're going to get some shit for that one, Gage.
I don't care. I'm ready.
As soon as this comes out, Spad's going to cut this and just post it everywhere. Instagram, TikTok.
You better put the clown music behind him.
Yeah.
Actually, all right, listen. As far as my thoughts on Donda, I'm not the biggest Kanye fan. I can respect it for what it is. Like, if you listen to it in its entirety, the first half is more like, I want to say like demonic, like it shows the darker side of Kanye, and then he meets God and he's free and whatnot. I don't love the album. I like some of the songs on the album. I think Moon with Don Toliver and Kid Cudi is a great song. I also love Donda Chant. That might be my favorite song on the whole album. Donda. It's all right. That's all right.
I just feel like it's getting way overrated, and that's why I'm so mad about it.
I listened to I haven't had the chance to listen to the whole thing yet. I listened to one song. I was taking a shit and I just figured, you know what? Let me just pop on a Kanye song real quick. TMI, by the way, but I don't care. And I listened to it and it was the first song. It wasn't Donda Chan, it was the one below Donda Chan on the album. Yes, that one. And I was like, this is bad. And then I just turned it off and I was like, I'm going to listen to that. I'm not in the mood right now. That did not get me in the mood to listen to the entire album. I was like, no. But I'm pretty sure like I've been reading the comments. So right after that, I went to the comments of like on social, I went to Twitter right away and it was just, this sucks or this is the album of the year. There was no in between people on Twitter. Like it was just completely polar opposite. So I'm going to listen to it soon. And I'll TBD what my thoughts on Donda are, but it's not looking good so far if the jail song is anything to.
It's like for the lyrics, he wrote a sentence and then just repeated that sentence over and over and over again. And he was like, yep, that's it.
I think it's growing on me a little bit. I didn't like Jail at first, and now I'm starting to like it. That was Jay-Z in it, right? That was Jay-Z that was in Jail? Yeah. Okay. Because I thought Jay-Z doesn't even make music anymore. I thought I was losing my mind. All right. Is my timer ready?
I've got you.
Let's go. All right. You're set?
Yep.
All right, guys. So this was a crazy story. Over the last weekend, IMG Academy from Florida, their football team played a team called Bishop Sycamore. Bishop Sycamore, for those of you who don't know the school, doesn't fucking exist, right? So basically, this fake team, right, doesn't have a website for their school, doesn't have any records of any of their players, has no students, has no teachers, right? There's no records of anything. They basically gypped ESPN into broadcasting their game with IMG on national television, right? This Bishop Sycamore team, it's not even a high school team. It's literally players 15 to 21-year-old JUCO players. Like they've had 21-year-olds on this team and they lost 58-0, by the way, which was crazy. But even the commentators didn't know what the fuck was going on. They were like, yeah, guys, we have players that aren't even on our list right now. We don't know who number 54 is. He's hurt on the field. It was basically a train wreck. It just goes to show these big companies just don't do enough research. One Google search could have told you, oh, this is not a real team. This is not a real school. How did they schedule this game is what I want to know. It's crazy. I can't believe something like this would actually happen. And I'm so glad that it did because it's made for some really good memes over the past couple of days. I don't know how you let this happen. This is wild. 129?
1 minute 30.
Oh, let's go.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice. Yeah, that was my main question is like, how the fuck did they even get a game with IMG Academy if they don't exist? Yeah. Like, how did that happen? How did they get this team together? How did this idea form? And like what? And it, by the way, in the Hall of Fame of all time fake names, Bishop Sycamore is number one.
What?
Nobody read that name and was like, that. Let me look this up. That doesn't sound right.
If you're gonna make some shit up, make it sound cool at least. Like what the hell? And imagine putting forth all that effort creating a fake school with a bunch of JUCO players just to get your back blown out.
Literally. How do you feel as like a 21-year-old grown-ass man just getting cooked and burnt on a route by like some 16-year-old kid?
Tragic.
I would never put on cleats again. I would never touch a ball again. That's crazy.
You just gotta retire.
You have to retire. I don't know why they're it's seriously, there's nothing you could do but just laugh because it's that mind-blowingly like crazy.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Jake,
up.
you ready? I got you.
I'm ready. All right. So I'm going to talk some baseball, which is heavily requested, guys. I promise I try to get baseball on this podcast as much as possible. Yeah. So Javier Baez came out recently. I made a video on this and said that he's going to boo the fans when they get success because the fans boo him when he's not getting success. So basically him and Francisco Lindor were giving the thumbs down signal to fans at their games whenever they get a hit and they get on base. First of all, what kind of sportsmanship is that? That's some bullshit. You want to get fans to turn against you? That's the number one way to do it. You're a professional athlete, okay? You are supposed to zone out the fans. You're supposed to be like one of the best in the business at just zoning people out, focusing on your game. That is literally your career. Don't worry about what the fans are doing, okay? Especially New York sports fans. New York sports fans, if they lose 2 games in a row, they think they want the coach fired. They want everybody on the team cut. And they like, because that's just how New York is, okay? You shouldn't take it to heart. This is what people mean when they mean like playing under the bright lights in New York. It encapsulates the fans as well, because they put a lot of pressure on you when you come here to play. Javier Baez, you're not a homegrown player. They're not going to come up and be like, oh, well, we're going to cut him some slack because, he's a homegrown Met. He came up through our system. No, they just got you, and you're supposed to help them, lead them to a playoff berth. And you're not doing that. You're striking out a whole bunch. So, Javi, get over yourself, okay? And don't worry about the fans.
1 minute 30.74.
Oh.
Oh man,
I got enraged with that one. I was like, I saw that and I was just like, what?
Yeah,
like,
it's fucking
what?
ridiculous. Like, just say you're a crybaby and move on.
Exactly.
Get over it, dude.
Yeah.
You're gonna thumbs down the fans? Are you kidding me?
And you know what's crazy is that he literally hit a walk-off just earlier today. Or no, he didn't hit a walk-off, but he scored the game-winning run.
Yeah,
like crazy.
Yeah.
You know what's even more wild is that they were one of the best teams in the league earlier in the season, and now they're in third place, sitting at 64 and 67.
They've got easily the best pitcher in the league, but they can't keep him on the fucking field because he's constantly getting hurt, which is so unfortunate because he could be having easily like one of the best seasons ever. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Javi Baez, like, go ahead, Jake.
That best team in the the top team in the league is a little inflated. They're in the worst division in baseball.
Yeah.
They had basically a 500 record and were number 1 in the division for a while there. So they were like 5 games over 500, which in baseball is not a lot. That is not a lot. You are
the
very
NFC
much an
East
average team
of baseball.
Yeah, exactly. So it was funny because the Yankees were like 8 games over 500 and everybody's like telling them that this is the worst team they've seen in years.
Yeah.
And the Mets were 5 games over 500 and New York fans were like, holy shit, this Mets team might go to the World Series. Like, it was like you could just see the differences in fan bases and expectations. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. But that division is the weakest shit I've ever seen in my life. The Braves are running away with it right now, though.
They are.
Yeah, they've been killing it lately. They've been going crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Javi Baez, get over yourself, dude. And like, you better be careful with those New York fans. They're not like Philly fans. They're not going to stab you, but they're as far as the intensity level, it's up there.
Yeah.
That makes the team just look so bad.
Yeah,
it really does.
He better keep hitting walk-offs because the second he has like 4 strikeouts in a game, they might throw shit at you. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, they are going to boo you off the field. You do not I cannot emphasize enough how much you do not want New York fans to turn their back on you. Because they'll boo you, but when you're succeeding, New York fans are literally like champ for you like there's no tomorrow. They would back you up like there is no tomorrow. They would probably die for you. There's fans out there that would probably die. I'm not even shitting you right now. Like, that's how passionate New York fans are. So not a good look for Javi Baez.
It's like in this past NBA playoffs when like Trae Young was the villain during that Knicks series, it would be like if Trae Young played for the Knicks and was the villain still. Like, that's what the situation is like for him.
Yep. Yeah. I can't see him getting he's pretty much just cut up any chances of him coming back there because I think his contract expires after this year. So I'm pretty sure the Mets probably won't bring him back if this is how he's going to interact with the fans in New York.
Yeah, the only way that he would get through this, I think, unscathed is if he won some awards or something. Yeah. Which, speaking of, we're going to get into topic 2 now and talk about
tremendous
some NFL
transition.
Awards. Thank you. Thought of that myself.
Did you?
Yeah, completely. Actually,
H has somebody behind the camera just feeding him lines, just like, say this one.
Teleprompter going.
Yeah. Is that Sped back there? Is that who's back?
Must be.
I keep him locked up. Actually, he has to be here.
Gotcha.
Wow. Sped's office is really nice.
Yeah, very nice.
He must be. He must be. All right, guys, we are going over our award predictions for the NFL. This is big, guys. We're going Coach of the Year, Defensive Rookie and Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player and Offensive Player of the Year, MVP and Comeback Player of the Year. Who wants to start with their Coach of the Year?
I think I'll go ahead and go first, I guess. And I am going to stick with the guy that I felt had a pretty good shot at it last season, guy that I think has been building his team up year after year. And I think that he deserves it if they're a very good team. Again, Sean McDermott. I think Sean McDermott has done an outstanding job with the Bills, brought them out of a situation that was not so great where they were basically constantly mediocre. He brings up, I'm not saying he did it himself, obviously, but his staff brings up Josh Allen, a guy that everybody was starting to lose hope for, but he had all the talent in the world. They groomed him and he's become this MVP caliber player now. They've gone to the playoffs multiple times, and I think they're going to continue to do so. So I think that he is a shoe-in for that award.
He's definitely has not gotten the respect he deserves the past couple of years. Absolutely not. My coach of the year, I was very close to going with Ron Rivera here because I think that the Washington football team is going to be outstanding this year. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Bruce Arians. All right. I think the Bucs are probably going to have the best record in football this year. Brought back all 22 starters from that Super Bowl roster. They have an amazing receiving core. They're legit 2 people deep in their entire front 7. Like their subs could come in and still be a top, 15 defense. They're an outstanding roster. They have an outstanding roster. Bruce Arians is an outstanding head coach. I think it's more so going to be because they have the best record in the league. That's why he wins it. Maybe it's not like the best coach, like a Sean McDermott, like a Matt LaFleur, who doesn't get enough respect either. I'm going with Bruce Arians, the walking tomato, if you guys remember him from going to the White House a couple months ago.
If he wins it, they should make him split it with Tom Brady.
Right. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, those are all good choices. All people I consider, especially Sean McDermott. I agree that he doesn't get the respect he deserves. I'm going with a different Sean Mick, though. I'm going with Sean McVay on the West Coast. I just think the Rams are going to be really, really good this year. And I think that Matt Stafford gives Sean McVay the green light to just unleash his offense. Just everything he's ever wanted to do, every idea he's ever drawn up in the dirt and just had in his back pocket because Jared Goff couldn't make those throws. I think we're just going to see it all on the field this year. And I think it's going to be crazy. And so I think the Rams are going to be really, really good. They're going to be one of the best teams in the NFC, if not one of the best teams in football. And I think Sean McVay is going to be a big, big part of that this year.
Offensive genius.
Yeah. I think that he doesn't have a choice but to be that good of a coach this year.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't go well, I just don't know where they go from here.
Mm-hmm. Sean McVay could be on the hot seat if they don't succeed this
year. And like, it doesn't sound like it. I feel like they would give him more time just because of what he has done for the team. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like he gets to a point where he could do really well after this.
Yeah. All right. And we are moving on to defensive rookie of the year. I'm going to start this one off, fellas. I'm going with Micah Parsons. Pretty easy. Okay. Micah Parsons is the Penn State right there. Boo. Micah Parsons is the, like, I want to say the clearest, like most precise. That's not the right words, but he's going to be the best player on the defense in this draft. Oh, that was I butchered that, but he very well could be the best player in this draft. He has the highest ceiling, I think, even higher than a guy like Trevor Lawrence has. Extremely athletic, extremely versatile. He could rush the passer. He could cover. I don't love him on that Dallas team because they have other suitable linebackers there, but you've seen it on Hard Knocks. He's already made an impression on the team. He is going to be that leader for that defense. I was close to going with JC Horn here too, because I think JC Horn is like a generational type cornerback talent, but I'm going with Micah Parsons here. It's really the safe choice.
You know, I like that you said that you were thinking about going with JC Horn there, because that is my pick. I love JC Horn, despite him being on a division rival with the Panthers. I just think that he is like, I liked him going into the draft more than I liked any of the other corners. I know that people were big on like Caleb Farley before his injury. I know that people were big on Patrick Surtain, and I think that they're both great as well. I think this draft was great for corners, but JC Horn, I think, just stands a little bit above the rest as far as his NFL readiness. I think with him playing at a school that doesn't get quite as much attention in South Carolina, kind of took away from him some as far as the draft goes, but I think that he's going to prove why he was taken as the first corner in the draft this year once he gets on the field for the Carolina Panthers.
So versatile too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's going to be a big part of that Carolina Panthers team this year. But yeah, I can't go with anybody else but my guy. I got to go with Micah Parsons. I watched him. I came in with him at Penn State. Watched him every single year. Watched every snap he played. He's just a dog, man. He is. He has that work ethic. We've all seen it on Hard Knocks. He was begging to stay in week 1 preseason game. He was begging to stay in. Because he obviously didn't play football last year. He sat out. So he just wants to play some football. Yeah, I agree with you, Luke. He's going to be the leader on that Cowboys defense for years and years to come. He has the potential. If you had to make a list of like Hall of Fame potential in this draft class, Micah Parsons would be on that list. He just has that it factor. He can do everything on the defensive side. People want to say that he can't cover. It's not that he can't cover. He just wasn't asked to cover a lot in our defensive scheme. So like he can do it. I'm sure he's just a little raw at it, but he picks up things quick. He's a very, very intelligent football player. I'm sure he will learn it and he'll be good at it in no time. So I just can't go with anybody else but Micah Parsons and for a defensive rookie of the year.
Well, he's going to have to learn to cover if they're playing in that 4-3 there in Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have to.
Yep.
I think he could do it, too. He's way too athletic not to be able to.
Oh, yeah.
Like
we're at a 4-4.
4-4 as a linebacker. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. All right. Offensive rookie of the year. Who wants to start?
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go with a little bit of an underrated pick here. I'm going to go with Zach Wilson for the New York Jets. As Luke, it seems like that was Luke's choice too. Yeah, Zach Wilson, he's looked great in preseason. Obviously, I never like to hype up anybody too much because they're preseason play, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But just he looks super comfortable. I didn't understand the hate he was getting coming out of college. I get it. He played at a lesser school. Steve Young played at BYU too. Okay. And he's in the Hall of Fame. All right. You got to get over this, lesser school thing. You got Steve McNair that played at freaking Alcorn State. Like it's not a big deal that of these people coming out of small schools. Like you got Brett Favre. You got a bunch of people that came out of small schools. Okay.
Talked about Robert Mathis and whether or not he'd be a first ballot guy last week.
Exactly.
And he went to Alabama A&M.
Yeah. Yeah. Jerry Rice went to Mississippi Valley State. Like this whole, you have to play against good competition bullshit is stupid. And he was still on a top 25 team in BYU at one point, I believe. Yeah. So listen, Zach Wilson looked really, really good coming out of college. I loved his tape. I could not understand where the hate was coming from. And everything I saw on tape, I was seeing in preseason, he looks super comfortable in the pocket. He's got a cannon for an arm. Okay. He looks better. He looks better with his build than he did look in college. I think he's put on a little bit more weight. So people had some questions about his durability in the NFL. And he's got a really quick release. We've seen some of the, off schedule throws that he can make, getting out of the pocket, throwing things on the dime, on a rope, kind of Patrick Mahomes-esque. Obviously, I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, but that Patrick Mahomes-esque, sidearm talent that he has. I just think Zach Wilson is going to be a very, very special player for years to come. And I'm very excited. It's very rare that I say I'm excited to watch the Jets this year. The Jets, anytime I can put their games on, I will definitely be putting their games on just to watch Zach Wilson. I think he's got the best shot.
Stole that one from me, Jake. Jeez, I thought I was gonna be the only one.
Listen, this is a cutthroat podcast. First come, first serve.
Out here. I like Zach Wilson. I like that pick, but who I think looked better in preseason? Mac McCorkle-Jones. Mac McCorkle-Jones looked very good for the Patriots throughout preseason. He is now going to be the starter from week 1 on, so he's going to be right there competing with those guys, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence from the jump. And I think in that offense, he's going to be able to do it. He's looked really, really good, especially in that last preseason game. He played very well against the Giants. He ends up pulling out the win for them. And I just think that, he's got all the tools to do it. And I think he's in the perfect offense to do it, going from Nick Saban to Bill Belichick, like we've talked about.
He's in such a perfect position. It couldn't be better. Thought here, right? Do you think Cam Newton got cut because he named Mac and Cheese as his nickname? I swear, if my nickname is Mac and Cheese, how could you be a leader if your nickname is Mac and Cheese? Not me.
There's a guy on the Warriors named the Cum Bucket. I don't
fair.
think that's why.
That's a fair point.
All right, that is
fair point.
That is fair. That is fair.
I don't think it's a terrible, like, it's not, I wouldn't take it offense if somebody was calling me mac and cheese. It's just such an easy nickname for somebody named Mac. Like, it's right there. It's right there for the taking.
Give me
If I-
Big Mac over mac and cheese.
Big Mac too.
Big Mac.
If I were Mac Jones, I would much rather be called Mac and Cheese than my actual middle name of McCorkle.
True.
That's
true.
fair.
That is fair.
Point. Yeah.
That is fair. So I obviously have Zach Wilson as well. I've completely 180'd my opinion on Zach Wilson. I thought he had the biggest bust potential out of any of the quarterbacks coming out of this draft class. And a lot of that had to do with because he was going to the Jets. I know that the Jets aren't under the same regime, the same scheme under Adam Gase, but still, it's the New York Jets. I think they got the right guy in Robert Saleh. They obviously replenished their wide receiver core, adding a guy like Elijah Moore, adding Corey Davis. They did just trade Chris Herndon, though. I don't know who's going to be playing tight end for them this season. It might be Tim Tebow after it's all said and done. But I'm going with Zach Wilson. He did more than just impress me in the preseason. And he's going to be one of the only, well, I guess not one of the only now that Mac Jones is going to be starting week 1, but he is going to be starting from week 1 on. There's nobody that's going to take that from him. There's no quarterback competition. He's going to go right in. He's going to be the starter. I think he's going to play pretty damn good. I don't necessarily think he's going to lead him to a lot of wins, but that's not so much on Zach Wilson. That's more so on the team itself. I think he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year as well. And that's crazy that I'm saying that because I really did not like him coming out of the draft. I really did not.
I saw a stat the other day. I think this was after week 2 of preseason, not including this last preseason game, but he had the highest passer rating of any quarterback ever through his first 2 preseason games, which obviously it's preseason, doesn't say a ton, kind of like the Ravens winning 20 straight doesn't say a ton, but it's pretty wild. He's almost pulled a full 180 from what we were hearing in training camp because he looked horrible in training camp, apparently.
180, pretty much.
Yeah.
Moving on to the bigger awards, we're going Defensive Player of the Year. Jake, do you want to start?
Yes. Okay. So Defensive Player of the Year. I'm gonna go Myles Garrett. Okay. I could have taken the low hanging fruit and gone with Aaron Donald because it's never gonna be a bad choice when you go with Aaron Donald. But I just think this Browns team is gonna be really, really good this year. And I think with getting Jadeveon Clowney on the opposite side of Myles Garrett, I think that's gonna open up a lot of rushing potential, sack potential for Myles Garrett. And I think he potentially will lead the league in sacks this year. And I believe he will be a big reason why the Browns, get to the playoffs for the second time in a row.
I like that.
Yeah.
He's going to have to start getting some votes at some point in his career. I mean, he's been too good for too long now.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett is disgusting.
So good.
Especially with a helmet in his hand.
Yes, there it is.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
It is. It's low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
My Defensive Player of the Year is Chase Young. I think he comes in year 2, makes an impact. Chase Young is actually another guy. My college football knowledge is off the charts. I didn't think Chase Young was going to be that good year 1. I thought he was a little bit overhyped. But I think Washington is going to have the best defense in the league this season. And I think Chase Young is going to be the biggest reason why. I think him and Montez Sweat are the best edge rush duo in the league right now. Better than Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, better than JJ Watt, Chandler Jones, better than, the Smith bros, whatever. Whoever you want to throw at them, I think Chase Young and Montez Sweat are better. They have a great defensive line, great front 7, decent secondary. They're going to put all the pieces around them to help Chase Young succeed. I think he's actually going to lead the league in sacks. Like you said with Myles Garrett, I think Chase Young leads the league in sacks and ends up winning his first Defensive Player of the Year in only year 2.
Oh, awfully bold with that one.
Mm-hmm.
My pick, I'm going to admit it here, was also Myles Garrett. I think that Myles Garrett, obviously, but I'm going to talk less about why I think Myles Garrett will get it and more why I think Aaron Donald won't get it this year, because I feel like Jake basically covered all the bases as far as why Myles Garrett could get it, because he's an absolute physical specimen. But Aaron Donald, I feel like at some point, and this is me taking a total gamble, I feel like at some point he's got to start hitting that downhill slide. You know what I mean? And I think that he's still fairly young for the position, and I think that he can perform very well. But on top of him getting up there in age and voter fatigue, because I just don't see the voters just going with him again unless he is leaps and bounds above the rest of the competition for the award. I just don't see it. I mean, it would be amazing. I wouldn't have a problem with it if he ends up getting his 4th, but I don't know. I don't like him for it this year.
He shouldn't have gotten it this year. He should not have one defense.
Are you a TJ Watt truther? Don't tell me you're a TJ
yes.
Watt truther. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Have you seen the double team rates though? The graph?
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Who had the better
but it
year?
Does. Aaron Donald did from his position with those double team rates, and he had a better pass rush win rate.
I'm not with it. I'm not.
Yeah,
with
I was on the TJ Watt train until I saw the double team rates, and I was like, okay, this guy's
crazy.
insane. Yeah.
You know what though? And before we move on to the next one, I'm just going to mention this real quick. You know who was double teamed a whole lot more than people realize? JJ Watt.
JJ Watt. Yep.
JJ Watt was double teamed like the most in the league. Just about. He might have been the most in the league actually.
Yeah.
And I feel like people didn't realize that. They just kind of consider him washed because he hasn't performed quite as well over the past few years and the injuries and stuff. So he could be a sleeper pick for this.
Zadaria Smith was the highest double teamed player 2 years ago, and he had like 15 and a half sacks and didn't get one single defensive player of the year vote. This is some bullshit. And he had the highest pressure rate. I need some Zadaria Smith defensive player of the year votes right here. All right. Offensive player of the year. I'm going to start with this one. If I could see who I wrote down. Oh, yeah, Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara will win Offensive Player of the Year because there's no Michael Thomas. I understand that there's Marquez Callaway. I understand that there's Adam Troutman still there. Alvin Kamara is going to be that guy for if it's not half the season, it's going to be the full season. You know, like if Michael Thomas, it's looking like he's going to miss at least the first 5 weeks of the season. So that potentially could leak further into the season, maybe midway. Who knows? Alvin Kamara is going to be that guy for the first 5 weeks. That's all I know. I would definitely be drafting him in fantasy. If I have the first pick, I'm drafting Alvin Kamara over Christian McCaffrey, over Saquon Barkley, over Nick Chubb, over everybody else, because that's how special I think he's going to be. Has never had 1,000-yard rushing season. I think that changes this year with a 17th game added on. I think he's pretty much Christian McCaffrey. Like if he had an archetype, it's Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is a little bit more elusive, a little bit faster than Alvin Kamara, but they're virtually the same player almost. I'm going with Alvin Kamara, and a lot of that has to do with Michael Thomas not being on the team for a majority of the season.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't think that's horrible. Even Saints bias aside, I think that I agree with that. With Michael Thomas being out, he could definitely get tons and tons of reps, especially with, I'm sure Sean Payton is seeing all of this, like Alvin Kamara has significantly less production with quarterbacks other than Drew Brees, and he's scheming up some stuff to get rid of that narrative right now.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. But speaking of Christian McCaffrey, as you mentioned, I am going to go with Christian McCaffrey. It's his year coming back from injury. This guy's going to hit the ground running. I mean, he talk about a physical specimen. Christian McCaffrey, he showed up to training camp last year looking like the freaking Hulk. Okay. This man is a beast, 1,000 and 1,000 a couple years ago. I don't see him slowing down at any point. He's still young. He's still in his prime. And this Panthers team just got better. It did. You got a quarterback, in Sam Darnold that can get the ball downfield, take a little pressure off of you. Matt Rule, it's the second year in what's the offensive coordinator system? As I forget my
Joe Brady.
Joe Brady. I forget somebody on every episode. It's just gonna happen, guys. Get used to it. Second year in Joe Brady's system. I believe that Christian McCaffrey is going to go off this year. He's going to remind the NFL why he is the number one player in fantasy football and one of the best players in football, period.
Yeah, can't go wrong picking Christian McCaffrey. You really can't.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. The only thing that gives me any concern whatsoever is just the re-injury risk, if there is any, you know what I mean? Just because he spent the whole season hurt. But I don't trust Sam Darnold enough to not go with Christian McCaffrey for Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Jake has a lot of trust in Sam Darnold.
Save that for later.
For my Offensive Player of the Year, it is typically a running back and quarterback award for the most part. So I'm going to go with the other position at quarterback, and I'm going to give it to Josh Allen. I think that Josh Allen will do enough to definitely earn that. I think that he and Stephon Diggs are going to have another great year together. And I think that wide receiving core only got better by adding Emmanuel Sanders. I think Gabe Davis is also going to take a step up this year, who I really like a lot. So I really don't see a reason why he couldn't win it. I think that he's a potential MVP candidate, but I do have somebody else for MVP that we're going to get to here in a couple minutes. And that is the only reason that I'm not picking Josh Allen for that. So I think that he'll basically be what the Offensive Player of the Year award is when they pick a quarterback. It's basically second place for MVP.
I completely am 100% with that. I think Josh Allen's going to have an MVP type season. I made a video yesterday. I think him and Stephon Diggs are going to be the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the league this upcoming season. I'm with that 100%. I'm backing that.
Yeah, definitely look at Stephon Diggs as a potential Offensive Player of the Year candidate too.
Yeah, I made a video about that and I listed him on there. There's only been 2 receivers to win it, but I mean, I could see it.
Which is shocking. That's crazy.
And one of them was Michael Thomas 2 years ago. That's something I want to bring up. How are we going to have a crazy record-breaking year with Michael Thomas the same year as Christian McCaffrey goes 1,000 and 1,000 and he misses out on the Offensive Player of the Year? That's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Yeah. And moving on to Comeback Player of the Year. A little bit hard to predict because it could be people coming back from illness, potentially COVID maybe. Maybe they're coming back off an injury or they just had a bad season. Jake, who do you have winning Comeback Player of the Year?
All right, before I get to that, I just want to say, if you sat out because of COVID, I don't think you should be eligible for a Comeback Player of the Year because you're not a Comeback Player of the Year. Insinuates you went through some sort of struggle to get back on the field. I feel like COVID, you just chose to sit out. Like I don't think that should qualify you for Comeback Player of the Year. Yes, you're literally coming back, but you're not coming back from anything. You're coming back from your house. Like that's I don't think you earned anything.
There's no adversity there, really.
Yeah, exactly. So for Comeback Player of the Year, I'm going to go with a guy that did play last year, but ended up getting injured. I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey because I have him winning Offensive Player of the Year. So obviously, I feel like if he wins Offensive Player of the Year, he'd be a shoo-in for Comeback Player of the Year. Like I said, I'm not going to repeat myself too much. I just think he's going to hit the ground running this year and be one of the best running backs of football again.
Yeah, I like that. I actually had Christian McCaffrey as well for my Comeback Player of the Year, despite having Josh Allen for my Offensive Player of the Year. But you know what? Since you said that, I'm going to go with a different guy, a guy that a lot of people might not have, Von Miller. Ooh. I think that Von Miller is going to come back from injury and being on the opposite side of Bradley Chubb in a very, very good defense on paper this season. I think that Von Miller could return to similar form back in 2015. Maybe not quite that good because, he's got a little age on him, got a little injury on him now, but I think that he's going to be a great player this season. And I think that him and Bradley Chubb are going to tear it up, but I think that Von Miller is going to get the majority of the sacks there. And I could see him winning it.
All right, so I picked a different player because I thought we were all going to agree on the same player, and turns out that's not at all what happened. So I'm not going to go with Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. I'm going to go with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, to me, I think he's going to break the passing yards record this upcoming season. I've said that for months now. I think he's going to do it. He has all the pieces around him. He might not even be 100% healthy, all right? So maybe it's a similar situation to what we saw last year. Cross my fingers it's not, but that is the reality of the situation is that he's going to go into the season a little bit hurt, a little bit banged up, but I think he does win Comeback Player of the Year. I think he takes Dallas back to the playoffs. I think they improved over the offseason, maybe not so much defensively, but they're getting a lot of their offensive line back. And I think that was really the main, root of all their problems last year. Give me Dak Prescott. I'm going to bet that actually. I'm going to bet that tonight.
Gonna put some money on it and everything.
About the record-breaking thing, that record's gonna have an asterisk next to it. 17-game season.
17th game.
I think so because if we're just going to the 18th game in a couple of years from now.
Yeah, but it's always gonna be in the 17-game season era because obviously you're gonna have more yards because you get an extra game. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there's no asterisk next to what's his name? Who is that really good quarterback? Fran Tarkenton. There's no asterisk next to Fran Tarkenton's records at all because he only played in like a 12-14 game season.
I think that makes it more impressive, his records, because he only played in a 12 or 14 game season.
That is a valid point. Less time to put up those numbers.
Yeah.
There aren't going to be any more records to be broken once Jordan Love comes in and starts for the Green Bay Packers.
Of course.
All right.
Speaking of which, our MVP award.
Go. Say it.
I wanted to say something about Dak Prescott real quick before we move on from that, because Luke, I stitched your video already. We've had this conversation to an extent. I just don't see, and I'm a little bit concerned about Dak Prescott because I feel like he's not fully healthy. And I feel like, especially with the news coming out today, that the Cowboys are potentially looking at Cam Newton. I mean, they let Ben DiNucci go, so it makes sense to maybe toss another guy into the mix.
Oh, Ben DiNucci.
Not the GOAT.
No.
But I don't know. I feel like he's not as healthy as maybe they're letting on, for one. And despite them having a really good offense, I feel like that defense just is going to drag him down. I don't know.
I mean, he's pretty much been doing that his whole career. Like the defense isn't good. He's only made he made the 2016 and 2017. What he's been in the playoffs like 3-4 times now, probably something around there. All right,
Dak?
yeah,
Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Really?
His
Rookie year and year you beat the Seahawks.
Really?
Yep.
Why? Wow. Okay.
I mean, if they beat the Seahawks, then I wouldn't question Jake. I'm sure he knows.
Yes. I remember very well. Trust me. Yeah.
I definitely remember his rookie year one. Definitely remember that one.
Yes. Yeah. The one and done in the playoff when they were 13-3.
Yeah. When Aaron Rodgers made the greatest throw of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that one.
That throw was overhyped. That throw was overhyped.
Whoa.
Let's move past it. I'm not saying that because it wasn't an amazing throw. I'm saying that because Aaron Rodgers has had better throws than that. I remember first game of the season, I believe it was in 2018. First game of the season, they're playing the Jaguars. He is getting sacked to the ground and throws a touchdown pass like 30 yards on a dime. Like, I think this was when the Jaguars still had their crazy defense with like Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, it was Jalen Ramsey trying to sack him there. Yeah, his jersey and everything.
Yeah, that was the greatest throw I've ever seen.
I agree. Aaron Rodgers has had better throws, but when you add in like the pedigree of the situation, like 20 seconds left on the clock, you're going for a field goal. Like, and the play before that, I think it was Jeff Heath absolutely laid him out for a sack and he didn't fumble, which was might have been even more impressive than the throw itself. But that's nor here nor there. We're talking about MVP, not past MVPs. I'm going to start this one off. If you guys heard this, we talked about our MVP predictions in the episode with OG the Beast, but we're going to go over them again. My MVP for the season is Ryan Tannehill. I think Ryan Tannehill is going to have his like real breakout season. A lot of that has to do with not AJ Jones, Julio Jones coming to the squad. Obviously, I get it. They have Derrick Henry. They have the best running back in the league there. He's going to get a lot of touches. I understand. But if you look at the seasons that Ryan Tannehill has played the past 2 years, he is a big focal point of that offense. Obviously, he is because he's the quarterback, but he's had better seasons than people give him credit for. Perennially over the past couple of years, always up there in the passer rating, always up there in quarterback rating, always up there in touchdown to interception ratio. I think he's probably going to pass around 40 touchdowns this year. Can't account for really anything more than that because of Derrick Henry and his touches. But I think Ryan Tannehill comes into the season, balls out, leads the Titans to the AFC South Championship, and possibly even maybe a first round bye. Who knows?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that he's definitely in a great situation to be able to win that award. Adding Julio Jones to the offense just opens a lot of things up for him that were basically already opened up because of Derrick Henry being there. So I can't hate that pick.
Yeah, and just one of the most underrated deep balls in the game. He throws a pretty deep ball. If you go back and watch Ryan Tannehill's deep ball, it's a thing of beauty.
And he's sneaky athletic too.
Yeah.
Like people don't give him credit for that either.
Unless Marcus Peters is downfield. Anyway, Matt Stafford. I'm going to stick with him for my MVP. Matthew Stafford in that Sean McVay offense, Jake's coach of the year. I think that, like Jake said, with the coach of the year award, that McVay is going to open up that offense a lot for Stafford. I think that Stafford's going to be able to do a lot more than McVay would have been able to do with Goff. And I think that he's got the receivers and the pieces to be able to do it. He's got Cooper Kupp, he's got Robert Woods, and even like Tyler Higbee, I feel like is a little bit underrated. I feel like that Stafford could put him to a lot more use as well. It's very unfortunate that they lost Cam Akers, but I feel like they've got some guys at running back, that can get the job done. Darrell Henderson already dealing with a thumb issue, I believe, which shouldn't lead into the season too much. I think it was the same thing Stafford was dealing with a couple weeks ago, and now he's pretty much good to go. And they pick up Sony Michel. So I think Stafford, he's primed for it.
He absolutely is. And the Sean McVay offense, like you said, has the receivers to go along with it. Tyler Higbee, like you mentioned, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tutu Atwell.
Yeah.
Questionable.
Deshaun
Jackson's on that team?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
He must be
Van
there.
Jefferson too.
Van
Second-year
Jefferson's
player.
another. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, they're deep.
Yep.
They are deep.
I want to say Van Jefferson's on the Titans now, isn't he?
No,
No way.
He's a second-year player. He was a rookie last year.
Maybe I'm thinking.
No,
I think.
Yeah.
Now we got to figure this out. What team is Van Jefferson on?
He's definitely on the Rams.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Who am I thinking of?
Like Tony Jefferson, maybe?
Josh Reynolds.
Josh Reynolds.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Close.
All right. Yeah. I like the MVP pick. Obviously, Matt Stafford, one of the front runners for it this year, finally being in an offense that, can actually expose his talents to the full Matt Stafford experience. But I'm going just going to read off some stats for you guys. 19 of 25, 162 yards and 2 touchdowns, 119.1 passer rating in his first preseason game. Mr. Sam Darnold. Okay. Listen, he looked really good in that preseason game. All joking aside, obviously take it with a grain of salt, as I don't like to hype up guys too much from preseason, but he looked really good. He looked really comfortable. He didn't look like he was seeing ghosts in that pocket as he was in New York. And it just seems from everything you're hearing coming out of camp that he's very comfortable with the team. He feels he's had the best attitude he's had since he's been in the NFL, being in that new location in Carolina with Matt Rule and Joe Brady. And listen, he's got a plethora of weapons around him. He's got DJ Moore. Okay. He's got Terrace Marshall. He's got Robbie Anderson. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, both 1,000-yard receivers last year. He's got arguably the best running back in the league, and Christian McCaffrey coming back 1,000 2 years ago. Terrace Marshall has been doing awesome in the preseason and in training camp. He's really shown out. So he's got plenty of weapons around him. And I think this is the year that Sam Darnold finally shows us the talent we all saw coming out of USC. So yes, I am saying it. I'm committing to it. Sam Darnold for MVP in 2021. Book it.
Okay. But Luke was confident enough in his pick that he said he's going to put money on it. Are you confident enough in Sam Darnold winning MVP to put a decent sum of money on that?
We need to hear it.
I will. What do you guys consider a decent sum of money?
All right. 10 times however many touchdowns he throws in the season.
Yeah. So how many touchdowns do you?
50 touchdowns. So, wow.
That's
a lot of money. I would probably, just because of the sheer chance, his odds are not good. So I have a chance to win a lot of money. If I bet it's like plus 5,000 or something, I want to say. So if I put $100 on that, it's like chance to win $5,000. I could do that. I might do that. Okay.
So so you're saying $100 is probably the most that you would put on it then?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put 2 cents on that. I would not. I wouldn't touch that shit with
I'll have my
football.
$5,000 in cash on this podcast episode the day he accepts the MVP award.
Listen. We need to do something. If Sam Darnold actually wins the MVP Gage, we need to do something.
We're gonna have to.
I want you guys bowing down to me as the guy. I'm kidding, but no. I would be shocked too. Okay, because I know I'm going out on a little limb here. I do believe he can win it though. I do absolutely believe he can win it. I believe he's got the system. He has the best situation around him that he could possibly have to do it, and this is the year to do it.
Sam Darnold's MVP odds are,
I think, what is it?
Plus 10,000.
10,000. Okay.
Oh,
$100, $10,000. That's not bad.
Or $100 to zero.
Whatever.
Here's the safer one: $10 to 1,000. That's what you want right there.
That's true.
That's what you want.
That's fair.
You want the low risk, high reward.
Yeah. If I was gonna go with a smaller sum of money, I'd probably go like $20. So that way, $2,000 on the line.
$2,000.
I'll put money on it. I've been seeing the comments. The video I posted kind of went. It got a lot of views, and a lot of people were like, "Put money on it." Then I'll put money on it. All right, I'll bring the receipt. I'll bring my ticket on this podcast, and I'll show it to all of you, and I'll let you guys know how much money I put on it.
We need the proof. We need the receipts.
I guess I got to bet on Stafford now then, huh? I'd be the only one not betting on my MVP candidate.
Well, what's Stafford's odds? It's probably like he's probably got to be up there.
Yeah, probably
like plus 1,000 or something.
I would like the people to know that I have already placed a bet on Jameis Winston to win MVP. So.
Whoa, you just contradicted yourself.
It's not okay. It's my guy, first of all. So
don't say it's your guy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Jameis Winston comes out here and wins MVP.
His odds are better than Sam Darnold's.
I don't think so. I don't know about that one. Are you kidding?
One.
His best receiver missing like 12 weeks of the season. There's no way. No way in hell.
He's gonna be back after week 6. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay.
He's got Marquez Callaway.
He has the best receiver on his team already.
Course. Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, Stafford's odds are plus 1,800, so significantly less there than Sam Darnold.
Can you look up Jordan Love's odds?
I will do that.
I don't think there's even a number on that.
I need to know. I want to know if he has better odds than Sam Darnold.
He does.
I'm pulling up Jameis Winston first.
I'll pull up Jordan Love.
Okay.
Fun fact: I've actually never bet on sports yet. I haven't done it.
Really?
I haven't done it yet. Yeah.
I just recently got into it.
So what do you guys use? Do you use
I use FanDuel Sportsbook.
Okay.
Which is not sponsored, by the way. But if you'd
not
like
sponsored.
to, if
you
You know who I use? I use Thrive Fantasy.
There you go. Yes. Yes.
Oh man. Where the fuck is Jordan Love on this list? He's not. Oh, Jordan Love plus 12,500.
When Jameis Winston's MVP odds are currently set at plus 4,000.
I want to know why, because I'm looking at the Scores website and they're going over everybody's MVP odds, like Mahomes. They have Mahomes down to Leonard Fournette, and then they have nothing written for any of those players except for Derek Carr, Taysom Hill, and Jordan Love. They have 3 paragraphs written for each of those players and nobody else. That's some real good in-depth analysis right there.
The thing about Jameis Winston's odds, now they're at plus 4,000, but I'm pretty sure when I placed the bet, they were at plus 6,000.
And by the end of the season, they're probably going to be like minus 6,000 because he's going to be in the lead.
Exactly. Trending in the right direction.
I like that. And that is going to wrap it up for episode 14 of the Totally Unqualified podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. And let me just tell you, if you're looking for a new sports book, looking for a new way to bet on player props without a risk of getting scammed by a sketchy website, make sure to go check out Thrive Fantasy. Week 1 of the NFL, they're giving away over $140,000 in guaranteed prizes, guys. Go download the Thrive Fantasy app, and by using code TOTALLY or by clicking any of the links in our TikToks, you will get a 100% instant first deposit match up to $100. If you want to bet $20, boom, there's another $20 in your account right there. It is that easy. Go download Thrive Fantasy.
And just like Thrive Fantasy, guys, if you have not downloaded the Overtime app yet, be sure to do that as well. Fantastic app. It's a great way to keep up with sports, set up like social media. We love it. We know that you'll love it. Check it out at the links in our bios as well. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and or you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, be sure to leave a like, be sure to rate and review us. We really appreciate it. It helps us out a lot, helps us build the community. And thanks.
Yeah, guys, make sure to go follow us on all of our social medias, right? We got Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, we got it. Just go to the TikTok links in our bio. You can get all of our socials from there. And make sure to go follow all of our individual TikTok accounts. All right. You got Football Fan Zone for Luke, you got Extra Points for Gage, and you got Jake Maltese 3 for me. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.